to call the cops, and they're like all getting scared and stuff. So I'm all right. This is the way we're gonna do it. I want you guys to take off all your clothes, leave your underwear on.
Welcome to Untitled Success, the podcast where we go behind the scenes with local business owners to uncover their journeys from humble beginnings to thriving entrepreneurs. If you're thinking about starting your own business or looking for guidance, you're in the right place. This podcast is a blueprint for success packed with real stories, real challenges, and actionable insights. I'm Timothy Taufilis. Today, we're joined with Buddy and Adam from Ziggys on Main. Let's dive in. So, welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Awesome. Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us.
I have a lot of questions for you guys because I'm like utterly confused because when I was like kind of looking up Ziggys, I have so many questions actually.
We're here for it.
So I lived in Westminster, as you guys know, and then when I was there, I used to buy a bunch of stuff from Ziggys in Westminster, and I thought it was just 2 locations, but there's like 6 locations.
Yes.
Are they all affiliated with you guys?
We're all pretty much affiliated, yeah.
And it's all owned by like one person, or they just
No.
like kind of own or
We're
rent
all
the name?
pretty family oriented, so I'll give you a little brief breakdown. My cousin started the first one up north in Stockton.
Okay.
So that's my big cousin, Carlo.
Okay.
He opened in 2008. He got into the smoke shop game. And our father opened the one here in Westminster. That's
Okay.
the one that really took the brand off in 2011. So he got out of the car industry. He was in the car industry for 20 years. Always wanted to have a smoke shop. Was a smoker, and he did it. Took it to another level by kind of creating that personal vibe and that personal touch. A lot of smoke shops you go in and it's just there's not a connection with the owner and the people. You know, they're just getting in the business to make money. He was passionate about it, and he really delved into that, and that's what really kind of took the brand off. So starting, it was one, then the second one, the major one, and then in 2016 we opened one in Miami. There's a Ziggys in Miami.
I
We
saw
have a
that.
partner there. He runs the Miami location. He was born and raised in Miami, knows Miami like the back of his hand, kind of like how my pops was out here in Miami.
Okay.
So that was 2016. Now we're at 3 stores. 2020 is when we opened our store.
Right. So, okay. So we have Stockton is the first one.
Stockton, Westminster,
Miami,
Main Street,
Main Street, there's
Tracy,
and there's one more
one more in OC off of Catella and
In Stanton.
in Stanton.
Ziggys OC.
And so it's really within your family to have
Pretty much.
Ziggys. So it's not like you guys are like franchising it or any of that stuff. It's
Not at the
really
moment.
like
Not at the moment, yeah. I think for us, we've kept it in the family, like through my uncles and my cousins, and then it goes back to my dad, goes back to us, and then we do have a partner out in Miami, but we do call him family too.
So I got to ask, what is your guys' ethnicity?
We're Palestinian American.
Palestinian American.
Yeah, we're third generation.
Third gen.
No,
Third
second
gen?
generation. Second generation. So our parents were both born and raised here. My dad was born at Hoag Hospital.
Okay.
And my mom was born in San Jose. They met in 95 in San Diego. Got married in 96. Had me in 97. Had Adam in 2002.
2002.
Yep. We're all 5 years apart. We also have 2 little sisters.
Little sisters.
So I'm
Really?
27, 22. We got 17 and 12.
12, yeah.
So that's interesting, right? So you have 6 locations ran by Arabs,
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much primarily.
yeah.
which could be a problem, right? Because like when I used to have a restaurant, we bought it off like Arabs. And the reason why we did that is because they had it in the family. They had 3 locations and all the brothers were stealing from each other.
Oh, God.
So how do you guys manage to like have that trust amongst everyone?
I think it's really like our cousins and uncles that have their store in Stockton and Tracy. I mean, they have it between themselves.
Okay.
My dad has his store out in Westminster. We have our store out in Main Street, and it's kind of dealt.
So we're all
within
connected,
it.
but we're all self-sufficient.
Yes.
Okay.
The profits aren't shared between the
Interesting.
stores.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes total
So
sense.
each store is ran by its own entity. So me and my brother, we run our store. So it's funny you say that because that happens in a lot of business, especially in business with Arabs.
Yeah, the biggest thing. Literally the biggest
Before,
thing.
so Adam graduated the same year we opened.
Yeah, so I graduated in 2020. We got the store
Yeah,
keys in
March
March 13th,
May of 2020?
2020, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we both grew up working in a family business. Our grandfather owned Zach's on the beach, the concession stands. So from
Really?
So for me, age 9,
Right
for
there.
him, age 12, all of our summers, weekends, we would be working down there,
Okay.
getting that kind of entrepreneurism and, you know, people skills and building that up. So it's kind of been ingrained in us.
Okay.
So we
Arab
stayed.
way.
We literally stayed in Huntington, not even 20 feet down from where Ziggy's on Main is right now.
All right. Well, now I have a follow-up question to that, right? So growing up in a business, you know, with family, sometimes you're just like, I don't want to do this.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't want to
Most
be.
of the time. Yeah. Most of the time.
Like, I get you guys want to be here at a concession stand,
Yep.
but I don't want to be here.
Yep. So that happened. That literally
That happened to both of us. Yeah,
So-
so that's what happened.
So for me, I was 17 or I was 18. I just graduated, legal age. My dad had the smoke shop for about 5 years.
Okay.
Right? So I graduated from working at Zach's. I started at Golden West College, and my new job was working at the smoke shop. And I started working at the smoke shop, and I loved it. 18, you know, fresh, and I'm doing my thing, and I'm learning. And we got into like the heady glass, the crazy artistic glass and stuff. So it was a really special time for me to learn how to kind of get on the next level into business with my father. And we were very close, and everything was working out, and everything was great, and still is. But you know, after what, 4 years, 5 years? I think I was 23 when we opened Maine.
It was about
like
4 years
I was
ago.
working
Yeah.
there for 5 years.
23.
And I was like, okay, like, you know, I can't do this forever. I need to do my own thing. I don't want to just copy my dad and my uncles who did Ziggys. You know, they started this brand. How can I take this into a different direction? How can I take this in a better direction? Not a better direction, but just a bigger direction.
Your own direction.
And
Exactly.
I've always been into Jordans. I've always been into streetwear. When I was in high school, a freshman, sophomore, I would take Adam and we would go to Melrose in Fairfax.
Camp out overnight at Supreme and everything.
Those are the places you
Crazy.
find it. You know, we don't find it in Orange County. We grew up wearing Vans and
Hurley,
You know?
we'd go to Jack's and buy our, Nike Janowskis and stuff like that. But if we ever wanted like Supreme, Bathing Ape, stuff like that, we'd have to go to, Melrose, Fairfax area.
Okay.
We'd have the time of our life over there. And it sucks now that it's kind of weaned away from the Fairfax side and stuff. It's really dead on that street now because I feel like the game has just trend, like it literally turned to every state now has it spread out. It's like it's not only in LA anymore. So it's a good and bad thing, I would say.
So basically, we decided, okay, I'm gonna open my own store. Me and my brother will work it, and it'll be a lifestyle store. We'll create something new, something that hasn't been created before, something that bounces off each other with the smoke shop vibe. So we started 80% smoke shop down there on Main, and we started 20% shoes. We started with 8 of our own pairs of shoes.
Wait, can we be clear? You guys started May of 2020
Yes,
May of 2020.
during COVID.
yes.
The
We
peak
signed
of
our
it.
lease.
The peak of
the
COVID.
absolute peak
like,
of it.
like people out here not walking on the streets, and you guys are like, hey,
Let's run it. But at the same time,
We had an upper hand because
everything
Orange
was
County,
closed.
Orange County
yeah,
is a Republican county.
yeah,
So during COVID, a lot of the mandates that were, sanctioned to LA County and, San Francisco, all over the major cities of California, weren't the same in Orange County, especially in Huntington Beach.
all the bars, restaurants, everything
open.
stayed open.
yeah.
And then if you notice, I don't know if you remember, but the first 2 years we were open, our block was closed off.
Yep.
So that somewhat helped us.
Because everyone was on the streets,
Walking.
like eating and
Exactly.
outside, and
They had the outdoor patios. All the restaurants kind of expanded. So like it was like a block party every single day down there.
oh yeah.
It was crazy.
Well, before we get into Ziggy's, like the shop itself, like how does this dynamic work
Big
with
brothers?
especially brothers?
I think it's at least for me, when we go into the store or just in anything business wise, we're not brothers in that aspect.
Okay.
To the people, like, oh yeah, we're brothers that started this business, but when it comes down to like actually working, figuring out schedules, finances, everything like that, we're just two partners.
How does this decision making happen between you guys?
He is my older brother,
Okay.
so he definitely does. I mean, obviously, I know I said that the brother doesn't matter, but he does have a little bit more experience than me.
Okay.
But at the same time, we're both like equal parts of it. So he runs a lot of the ordering for, let's just say the smoke shop side or anything smaller like that. And, in the sneaker side, the clothing side, it's kind of my specialty. We have like split departments. So like when we need to agree on something together, like that's when I guess
I would say it goes a little bit deeper than that, a little bit simpler than that. And it goes back to the family thing with the Arab thing. We've seen so many fallouts between brothers,
Too many.
between uncles,
Yeah.
between
Literally too many.
grandfathers, between cousins.
Yeah.
We've seen it all of our life. And we always wonder why it happens. And a lot of times it happens because someone has a chip on their shoulder. Someone doesn't want to take acknowledgement. Someone doesn't want to take accountability. So we've always seen that growing up. And when we kind of went into business together, when we started our store, we kind of made a pact that, you know, we're not going to let any small stuff get to us.
Exactly.
And we've had countless small things that we've disagreed on and stuff, but we'll get over it within an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
It's never like a week of like not talking to each other because it's bad for business. At the same time, it's like the train doesn't stop. You know, we can't just be mad forever.
Okay. I think one of the things that I've kind of learned throughout this entire process, right, is if you're in a partnership, not necessarily even you guys, but if you go in with the intention of thinking of the other person, like the betterment for that person, and that person also thinks vice versa, it ends up being
Synergy.
yeah, it's a synergy, and it goes across everything, right? Like
100%.
even in marriage, like
100%.
with me and my wife, I'm like, I might be mad at her one day, but I'm like, all right, like how can I be a better husband for her? And if it's like the same thing, that's kind of what I'm learning. If you have that partnership, right, and you think of that other person being, you know, how can I be better for that person? Then it, yeah, you're right. It's a synergy.
It
and
comes with a
That's
lot
all
of,
it is.
you know, forgiveness and understanding, and you know, it's pretty simple. Like if I'm fucking up, he's
Yeah.
gonna tell me. If he's fucking up, I'm gonna tell him.
How do you guys take? Okay, but I gotta know. How do you guys take it? Like
We take it.
because again, like coming from an Arab background, right? If Adam and I'm the older brother, for example,
Yeah.
like, and he's like, "Hey man, you're messing up," I'm like, "Who the fuck you talking to?" Right?
We definitely do get like that, and we will argue like that. But it's like what he said. I mean, we're both not hard-headed. I would say.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more.
He's
hard-headed.
he's definitely a lot more hard-headed than I am. I tend to get over things like that.
Okay.
Like if I fuck up or something, or if I mess up, I'm one to be like, all right, like I messed up, you know. But if he is one to mess up and I call him out on it, he kind of has a little twitch in him, or you know, he doesn't want to say it, but
Yeah.
you know, you could definitely tell. But
That was the old me, though. I've been working on that, and the past 6 months, I've made drastic improvements on
Yeah.
that.
That's great that you're actually self-aware of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I know what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Right. I just have to like, I might not get it 100% of the time, but as long as I'm kind of working towards it, like, I can make a little bit tweaks. Okay.
That goes back to the family
biggest
business too.
thing.
It's seeing, you know, the older generations do that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's ingrained with me because I want to mimic them. I see them successful and they're like that.
Yeah.
So let me try see if that works. And
Yeah.
you know, it worked for a little bit, but it's like, okay, let me look at it from an outside standpoint. No, that's not how
it only
should
gets
work,
you so far.
You know,
it really only gets you so far.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
All right. So we're opening up Ziggys in 2020, right? The store, I was like kind of looking at the store when you guys opened it on YouTube. I'm like, oh my God, how far you guys come.
thank you.
Dude, the small clothing racks, everything.
Yeah, the small clothing
It's
rack,
it's
the biggest change, which I think makes a huge difference, is the rack where the shoes used to sit on, right?
We hit on grid wall.
It was on grid wall, and now it's like this white shelving,
Yep.
which makes all of the difference, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Big time. It's like the grid wall kind of makes it. I'm not gonna say it looks ghetto because a lot of shoe stores do use it, and it is.
And
good
they still
for a
use
sense.
it.
Yeah, a lot of people still use it. I mean, we use grid wall for everything, but when we built out those cabinets and we put all the sneakers kind of next to each other, it literally looks like a Skittles package, bro.
Yeah.
That's all. It literally
Taste
walk
the
in,
rainbow.
it tastes the rainbow. That's all. That's all you can think about it. So
Yeah.
definitely stoked on that.
Yeah,
Alright.
so it's wild you say that because it was probably 6 foot by 8 foot, and now it's 30 foot by 12 foot.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
sneaker wall.
So as you guys continue to grow, like from shoe to smoke to clothing, and having this unique brand on Main Street, how do you guys decide what to put in your store and what not to put in your store?
It's a lot of trial and error. We've been doing the past 4 years. We'll try something, you know, we'll see if it works. If it works, we'll keep it. If it doesn't work, we'll switch it out with something else.
Has there been a sneaker that didn't work for you guys?
A lot of the times, a lot of the Jordan 6s, 7s, 8s, all the way up to really like 12s and 13s. Obviously, like that shoe does a lot better in the East Coast. A lot of West Coast, at least like the sneaker population, the community out here is more on the ones, SB dunks, low tops.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of just like that not so Jordan fan. I mean, we still get the Jordan 4s. I mean, we still have those type of customers, but like definitely like we stay away from those because we used to like I used to buy bulk of 6s, 7s because it's the new releases and stuff, and it just sits on our shelves. You know, people like they come in. A lot of families come in, first time Jordan buyers coming in. So you know they see it and they're like, oh, well, I saw this Jordan 4 on TikTok. This is the one that I want.
Yeah.
Or I see this Dunk Low on TikTok, or I see this person wearing it. I want that one. I don't want this 6, 7, 8.
To tack onto that, it's all about timing too. So if I'm going to be real, the Southern California is late on the sneaker game.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it.
I mean,
LA,
it's true.
Hollywood, there might be guys that have been in the game since the 90s, since the 2000s. But to be honest, like I was saying, we grew up wearing Vans. We didn't really get into Nike. I didn't get my first pair of Nikes until I was like 16 and a half, 17.
Yeah.
And he got his first pair right around the same age.
Yeah, around like 15.
So when you like, here's an example. Like, I dropped my little sister off at school, and I look at what all the kids are wearing at middle school, right?
Oh,
now they're wearing Dunks, they're wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
I'll see maybe 20% Vans. When I was going to middle school, it was 99% Vans.
It was all Vans,
Vans and Converse.
Converse. Oh, Oasis.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys remember.
Oasis.
DC.
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many.
So-
The Metal Militia shoes, all those.
With the shoes and the trends, you know, we started with Jordan 1s and we started with 6s. We started with these, and the things that we're selling were the things that were trendy. The 1s, the 4s, the Dunks, the SBs, because everyone around saw that this is where fashion's going. Let's get into it. Let's wear it. We've tried other things. They'll sit for a little bit. We'll sell them, but they don't move as fast as 1s, 3s, Dunks, 4s, because that's what's been in for the past 5 years. And now we're seeing a little bit of a it's spreading out a little bit more. Trainers, the New Balances.
Yeah.
A lot of the dad shoes and stuff like that.
Oh, they're
You know,
making
yeah,
a
huge.
sick comeback.
Dude,
Huge.
Vomero, like Vomero's, I don't know if they've been out for a while. I think it's pretty new.
Yeah.
Kind of Nike tacked onto like the New Balance wave. But bro, the amount of Vomero requests that we get, there's
Yeah.
like so many different colorways now. It's crazy.
Age
So
groups
they-
too, you know.
Yeah.
Depending on who's coming in, how old they are, what they're asking for makes a difference.
Oh,
A lot of guys in their late 30s, early to mid 40s are asking for Air Maxes because they grew up seeing Air Max come out 90, 95,
Cortezes,
97.
all that.
So it's pretty cool to see the different trends and where people where their heads are at with style.
okay. So that's the style part, but what about the smoke part too? Like
Smoking?
you guys make a lot of good glasses, right? And so are those always a hit? Are there some misses as well?
Yeah, definitely. So with our background with the smoke shop, so going back to the original Ziggys, we have a studio that's literally a block down,
From where?
Westminster.
Where's that one at?
The one on Beach and
the
McFadden.
main Ziggy's.
The main Ziggy's
Yeah.
in Westminster.
Beach and McFadden.
Right down the street.
You got that apartment behind it. On the other side of that apartment is our studio.
Oh,
That's
It's
where they
called Classic
make
33 Studio.
they make everything there.
Oh.
The main glass blower out of there is named Adam Hubry, Hoops Glass. He's one of the top, I would say, top 10 glass blowers, borosilicate glass blowers in America.
okay.
And my pops met him in 2012 or 2011, right when he opened. And he was working at another studio, and he kind of introduced my pops to the heady game, the heady glass, and then that's how I got into it.
Mm-hmm.
With that, it's in its early stages still. The heady glass, the crazy artistic glass,
Yeah.
has only really been being made for the past maybe 15, 20 years.
But you guys go to like glass shows.
We do.
The last
And we
time
throw glass
we,
shows.
we
Yeah.
do a lot of like, for instance, when we started in 2020, at least for the store, we started a lot of these kind of like the kickoff events and stuff. Like we did a collab with Darby Home Glass, and then to tack onto that, we did a Sunset Sneakers, which is his son's sneaker page. They're huge.
Okay.
So we threw that glass show with Darby, had the Sunset Sneaker pop up outside, and every time we did one of these shows, like we would have VIP lists for it, and pretty much
The
like,
big factor there was the pandemic, though.
yeah.
The pandemic helped us with that.
Why do you say that?
Because everything was locked down outside of Orange County, back east, everywhere was locked down. So a lot of these collectors that are into the glass and that wanted the pieces, they had no way to go to these shows and whatnot. So
Okay.
what I would do is I would get an array of glass, collection of glass from an artist. Let's say we get 10 pieces, and for the month or 2 months leading up to the show, I'm taking those pieces down to the beach, functioning them, taking really nice shots of them. I call them shore shots, down by the water, and showcasing what's going to be at the show. And people in a guy in Michigan who's a collector will see that piece and be like, okay, I want that piece. When's the show? He'll hit me up. I'll run a VIP for the show. So that's someone who pre-buys a ticket. So the day of the show, I'm showcasing everything on Instagram. So I'll go live, and for an hour, I'm showcasing all the pieces on Instagram live. And I have 100, 200, 300, 400 people in the live. They're all watching the pieces. They're all watching the function. I don't go over prices. I go over prices personally. The VIPs then are on a list. So after that live is over, I hit the first VIP up. He just saw all those pieces. He's been eyeballing this one piece. He wants this recycler piece. It's $7,000. He's gonna take it.
$7,000?
$7,000.
7,000.
That's $7,000 just casually.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nothing,
the pieces
dude.
that we've sold range from anywhere from $50, $100 to I've sold the most expensive piece I've sold personally was $40,000.
Yeah.
$40,000?
Yeah, it was a collab with two artists, AKM and Mike Luna. Mike Luna makes dragons, so that's the beautiful thing about glass art. Each artist has their own specialty, their own motif, their own signature design that they create. Either it be a sculpture, either it be a pattern. And what happens is when two artists collab, they're going to put one with the pattern is going to put that one pattern on his sculpture.
So it's like...
So Mike Luna makes dragons, AKM makes these really crazy milli patterns, very, very intricate. It's an age-old tradition, age-old method of making glass. It goes back to Italy.
Those crazy rugs that you see that have all the intricate little detail
patterns and stuff. So he'll make all those patterns.
So it's like a big deal, like if Kith is with somebody.
Exactly.
Just like that. Okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
That's a great way to put it. So yeah, that piece actually stayed local too. It's a friend of mine in Riverside that owns that piece. So we did about 15 shows from 2020 to about 2023. 16, yeah. This last year, it's been kind of mellow because the pandemic's over. So people can go and shop around, and they can go in person to a lot of different shows, and a lot of shops opened up. There's a little bit more
variety out
there. And then another thing is the secondary market. That's huge too, because when you have a $7,000 piece, that $7,000 piece, once you buy it and use it, doesn't mean that it loses its value.
Interesting.
Half the time, it goes up in value.
So $7,000, he smokes it, enjoys it. He could probably sell it, what, 9, 10?
10,000.
Depending on the artist, depending on the hype of the artist,
We've
depending
had
on what
few.
the artist is making currently.
Yeah. It's like, for instance, like, give an example, like Slop Cups. He makes these,
Slop Cups, two artists, Disc Glass and Slop. So they're a Japanese pair of artists. Japan, international, there's a lot too. So that's very sought after because it's made in Japan and it has to be delivered here to the States. So it's not like artists in the States that's just pumping stuff out. It's very limited what comes out of Japan. So we did a drop with him for 5 cups. And
about five
or six cups.
Yeah.
How are you guys reaching out to these people? Like, are you guys just hitting them up on social media?
Instagram is like the biggest thing for us. And it's networking. I mean, obviously, like, we have a lot of connections just with our name being Ziggys, you know what I mean? So a lot of artists will actually reach out to us, try to do a drop with us and stuff like that. So.
All right, so I got a question about, because social media is a big part of your guys' identity, right?
Big time.
Right. I see Adam, doing silly, like, reels, and it's hitting. It's hitting every single time.
It work.
So what's two-part question. One, how are you guys figuring out the method to this madness, right? This is more a personal question for me. And number 2 is, like, how are you guys collaborating with these influencers? Like, I saw Juski come through your store. That was pretty cool, right? Your highest reel was the catch one.
If you can grab it, you can have it.
Yeah.
That's our signature.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that one has like 4.6 million views now.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that a lot of people, they overcomplicate it with social media.
Yeah. Okay.
The biggest thing that matters in all of our reels is the first 3 seconds. If the first 3 seconds...
It has to grab your attention.
It has to grab... Because, like, for instance, myself, you, buddy, everyone that's here, if you're on Instagram at night, you're scrolling on the Explore page, and you see a reel, in the first 5 seconds, you're just like, all right, what is this? Scroll. It's not catching your attention, but the first 3 seconds, like, in the if you can grab it, you can have it videos, I'm screaming from the top of the store, if you can grab it, you can have it.
Yeah.
These people are like, oh, wait. I want to keep watching. Then, it's just adding those little effects. But a lot of people, they say that they try so many different things, like hiring social media managers, doing so much things, doing ads, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've never done any of that.
None of that.
Never hired a social media manager, never ran ads. It's all natural algorithm.
How'd you guys figure it out?
We just trial and error. We just try things. If it works, we'll try it again. If it doesn't work, we'll delete it and, you know, try something else.
Okay.
And we weren't scared of trying new things. We weren't embarrassed. A lot of people would talk crap. Oh, why are you guys doing these skit videos, this and that? We didn't care. We didn't hear any of that.
The amount of shit talking that we got. Sorry if I don't know if I can cuss, but the amount of shit talking that we got from family, friends, other stores,
Family
customers.
and friends?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the biggest.
You know,
You know how it is, especially being Arab.
Yeah.
They see you being a clown on the internet for views or anything like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, honestly, too, a big fact of who helped me with my social media, and I will shout them out, is Rocky Furha. They're part of the Furha family.
big group influencer family out of Orange County. They're big on Snapchat. They're huge. They're like top Snapchat.
It's like a family
streamers
page and stuff. But they do a lot of like, you know, just Arab family videos and stuff like that. But I've been friends with him for a while, and you know, he was like, okay, well, you need to do this. You know, you need to catch them here. Add this, you know, silly music. Add those little sound effects, and you'll do good. And I was just like, even Buddy at first, we're like, we did the first video, and we're like, bro, like this is super corny, but we posted it, our first 1 million view video. You know what I mean? So, I swear to God.
Stop it.
I swear to God. Like, because, you know, we started, and then if you go back on our page, this was even before I met before I talked about social media with my homie. We used to do this thing called 909 Terps. And basically, you want to explain how the character
909 Terps is like a little character skit I made with it was kind of like going into like the heady glass side of things.
Okay.
With the glass side of things, there's a subculture with glass collectors. So heady is a term they use. Heady means, you know, it trips your head out. So you see some crazy glass piece, you know, if it's not a production piece and it's a one-off piece, it's known as a heady piece. So with heady pieces, you got the heady community, and the community is made up of stoners that are into the glass, that collect the glass. And it's just like sneakerheads, you know?
Same thing. Sneaker community, you know, you have those people that, you know, they tippy-toe when they're walking their shoes, or they don't like pandas, or, you know, something like that. It's the same type of thing. So
909 Terps was a character I created that would just make fun of the, like, small quirks in the heady community, if that makes sense. So I would come in the store and I would be loud and, you know, just off-putting, and a lot of times, like, I would deal with certain people that had a lot of those traits and stuff, and they didn't realize it, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's cool. Everyone's just unique.
One of
It's
those
just
things,
funny.
you know?
Just poking fun.
Yeah, just poking fun.
The
Exactly.
big designer bags, the French
funny.
everything like that.
The French
you know,
Bulldog,
everything.
the designer, you know, just like, it's like a starter kit, you know? So we did that. That was like our first real kind of like character that we created.
That was like the first skit that we did that I was like, you know, like we're supposed to make a funny video, you know what I mean? We used to like make these little TikToks and stuff like that, but really like that was the first skit, and then from there we're like, all right, like let's start taking this a little bit more serious. Started doing more videos, and then it goes back to, you know, after doing those, we got a lot of influencers in the store. You know, like we just posted a video today with the Akiway, General Ak.
I saw that.
We just finished that. We've done Drewski. I think we've had a few other
big
people.
factor how we've gotten a lot of these people, and it's not to like toot our horn or anything, but we've always been true to ourselves. With social media, we'll make those skits and stuff, and we'll be charismatic, but we'll give you the same energy in person. There's no faking the funk. So when people come into our store, depending on who's working, if we're both working, he's working, you're gonna get that same energy and that same personal service, and that's something that's going away in America today. You know, you go to Macy's, you go to Nordstrom's, the person's on their phone, you ask them for a size, it's just, you don't feel that connection. So when you walk into our store, you feel that connection, and that is a lasting impact on the customer, on the collector, on the consumer, and they'll never forget that.
I mean, that's kind of how we met, right?
100%.
Y'all made me rich in 2020.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
you know,
like-
you were selling shoes to us and stuff. And, you know, you would come in and, you know, I'm not dogging any other sneaker stores out there, but if you were to go to another sneaker store, you're going to walk in and you're going to be like, hey, I'm trying to sell these. And the guy's going to be like, all right, like, they're just going to lowball you. And he's not going to give you that service of like, oh, like, what's your name? Like, oh, your kids are here. Grab something to drink on the way out.
100%.
Oh, follow us on Instagram, bro. We'll keep in touch if you ever get more stuff in. A lot of these sneaker stores are very like, I call them cash grabs. They're just in it to make the money. Most of the time, they don't even know what they're selling. You know, and stuff like that. And it's sad to see, but from 2020 to where we are today, let's say it was really us and 3 other stores in OC, and since then maybe 30 stores have opened.
Well, there was one that was at Pack City, and you and I were talking about it.
You remember that?
We're like,
yeah,
this is not gonna last.
Yeah.
not at all.
Okay.
Their business model. Well, I don't even want to talk about someone else.
I mean, yeah, we're not going to talk about it, but you know that's one of those things. And it's funny because like going back to that, that one opened in Pacific City, maybe a year and a half ago. One opened right across from us as well.
Which one?
It was like a little store on the corner. It was just off Main Street, but it was there. You know what I mean? You know, and a lot of the times, like, bro, I don't see that as competition whatsoever. I wish everyone the best success ever. But, like, if you want to make it in the sneaker game, which we've been open for 5 years and we're striving through it, it's all about your personal service, your product, and how passionate you are to the game and anything it is.
Location has a big.
Location's the biggest thing too. You know, we grew up on Huntington, so it's
we grew up in Huntington. We grew up on Main Street. We literally grew up. Our first house we were born and raised in is on the next block.
Oh, really?
On 5th and Olive. We're on Main and Olive.
Okay.
So it's really special for us. And growing up working at the concession stand, I went to Dwyer Middle School. That's like a block up from the beach. He went to school in Fountain Valley, but he'd always be down there.
Same thing, yeah.
We were always on every block, up and down. I knew Huntington, downtown Huntington, like the back of my hand. I knew where the crowds go. I knew where the crowds don't go. So in March when we were walking, we had dinner, we were walking, and I saw the location up for lease. It was a CBD shop. I just saw it. I was like, that's it. That's the spot. If it was an open spot on the first block or if it was an open spot on the third block, I wouldn't have been inspired. Because I know that that's where the action's at.
Yeah.
You got 6 bars across the street. Everyone's coming to that. And the block didn't even close yet. We took it over. We took over the lease and started the shop. 2 months later, the block closed.
Yeah.
So we were tripping. We were like, what?
Yeah, it was
like you guys were the first like line where we're closed too.
Yeah.
So
right
it's like
there. It was the first store where the IHOP was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It closed right there.
So it was a calculated risk for sure. And
one of the questions I want to ask is like when you guys took that lease, right? That's not a cheap lease, bro.
no, it's not.
So
We actually were fortunate.
What's your thought process behind it? Like
Coming in, we were fortunate because the guy who had the shop before us, it was a CBD shop.
okay.
And he invested a lot of money in the actual location.
Okay.
So he built out the wall. I don't know if you noticed, the wall has this like crazy pattern,
The concrete
work.
slabs.
It's like a 30 grand build out on the wall for the concrete.
From the outside.
No, the inside.
The inside.
Inside?
Yeah. Next time you come, I'll show you.
Okay.
It's like it's a very nice pattern on the wall. All the shelving you see in the store, all that modular shelving, it's like a $60,000 shelving system. He left me.
Okay.
He had 3 months lease paid. The first 3 months going in.
Damn. Talk
So-
about your guys' luck.
We came into a perfect location.
And he left pretty much
Oh, he
the
left all
product
his
in there.
CBD product.
He left the whole store, just like how it was.
So you come in and you see our CBD case, right? Our
Right.
CBD case, this guy had that CBD case spread out through the whole store.
Well, no one would ever walk into that store because of like how gloomy it used to look like, right? There was just that big weed sign that was
Yeah,
outside, and
exactly.
that was pretty much it.
Yeah. So this guy had like 5 stores. Long story short, he wanted to get out of the business, go back to wherever state he was in.
Okay.
So we came up on the opportunity. I pitched the whole idea of blending the, heady high-end glass with the sneakers and the lifestyle to the landlord.
Okay.
I had the upper hand with the landlord because the landlord knew my grandfather since the 80s. They were both, property developers in the area.
Wow.
So
Can't make this up, bro.
Dude, you literally can't.
So he cleared me for
it's
the
crazy.
tobacco license, and we got the tobacco license, and yeah, that was it.
Wow.
We
That's
got
all
in
good,
May
yeah.
3rd. It's crazy. This is the crazy part. Our opening day, it was supposed to be like our soft opening day. It was one of those crazy riots during the
The BLM,
yeah.
the BLM riots,
and
yeah.
all
I
that.
got shot in the leg, actually. I still have the scar by a rubber bullet.
yeah.
Yeah,
They tear gassed.
They tear
rubber
gassed everything,
bulleted.
yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
You can't make this up, bro.
I promise
So
you,
we-
you can look it up on YouTube and
So
stuff.
we got
like,
there, we got there at like 8:30 in the morning, and all the businesses, it was crazy. All the businesses had like local handymen outside putting up plywood, putting up 2x4s, blocking all the windows.
Like I'm walking up to literally like these 3 guys like just boarding up my windows.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we live down the street.
That was like
We're
really,
gonna
really,
protect
really, really
everyone," and,
special
like,
to see that. It was the community
nuts.
of Huntington. It wasn't the city. It was the community of Huntington that was standing down there with all the businesses, local handymen putting up wood, not even asking for money for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, just making sure nothing got messed with. It wasn't anything about violence or anything like that. We just didn't want to get looted.
Right.
Because that's what we saw. And throughout the day, we stood in front of our business. We saw maybe 20 or 30 dudes trying to run up with masks and stuff. And they see 10 of our homies and they're like, okay, let me think again.
And we're talking about age, you know, like all these guys down there, like especially the guys that were there that day, like big ass motherfuckers. You know what I mean? They're big guys and stuff. And, you know, like, it's like what you said.
It's just like, I mean, it's before our time, but you probably remember the 92 riots. So during the 92 riots, it's funny, my pops, like his homies in high school, they ditched school to go to freaking Hollywood and go to South Central and go to downtown LA to see what they could come up on, you know? It's pretty crazy.
And it still happens to this day.
It happens everywhere.
It happened at the Dodger games. They
Oh,
looted the flight store. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's just an excuse for everyone to get free stuff. That's all it is. But
So actually, you're touching on a point I really want to kind of poke at is that like you have a store that has valuable and high-end items.
Yes.
Have you guys ever been robbed before?
we've never actually like been robbed. We've had a lot of theft happen in the store. I think for us, especially at our store, is we've built like a nice community of people. Like you could walk in the store and yeah, it'll be like us and another employee working, but you have two homies standing outside. You got a guy in the corner that's good friends with us. That's a customer. So it's like anytime a situation's ever like erupted, it's like shut down within that minute. You know what I mean? Like, hey, whistle outside. A guy's coming in.
One time a guy came in and he grabbed like 4 shoes off the wall and he ran out real quick. And I chased after him. And as soon as like I saw him hit the corner, I yelled, I'm like, those are all lefts, you idiot. And he looked down because, you know, we only put the lefts out there. He looked down, he dropped them, and he kept running. And I was like, okay, I don't even want to chase after him. Let me just get my inventory back. Yeah. That's the reason why we wrapped the shoes and we only put the lefts out.
I think I literally think like, yeah, that happened. And I think another time I was in my office. I have an office right on top of the store too.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there and one of my employees calls me. He's like, hey, dude, like I think this guy just put like a bunch of shirts in his thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll be down there in a second. And I'm literally sitting there pissed off in my office. Grabbed the nearest thing for me. It was a vacuum. It was like a Dyson vacuum. So I grab it and I'm running downstairs. He's already locked the door in the store. And it's these like 2 young kids that are sitting down on the bench. Like my employee already told them what's up. I walk in. I'm like, so what's up? Like, what'd you guys grab? And then he like everything's laid out. And they grabbed a lot of Chrome Hearts stuff. Chrome Hearts is expensive. I'm like, these are $1,000 hoodies, stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, you guys want to steal from me, and they don't want to talk and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna call the cops, and they're like all getting scared and stuff. So I'm all right. This is the way we're gonna do it. I want you guys to take off all your clothes, leave your underwear on. So these guys are in the store taking off all their clothes, just their underwear on. And everyone in the window starting to catch on. I had people in front of the store like laughing, looking. All the homies are starting to pile up outside. And these kids are just... One of the kids actually shit himself. Yeah, I have the video still on the bench. I had to get rid of the bench. Yeah, he shit himself. And I was like, all right, like, you know, you guys are going to go to jail. They took off all their clothes and stuff, so I called the cops. Cops came, arrested him, took him out. So, like, anytime something happens, and... He's the king of this. If you steal from us or anything, he makes it known. He doesn't call it. Maybe he won't call the cops, but he'll put the pressure on you.
I'll put the pressure. What I like to do with those situations is I like to, if someone steals from me, I'll steal more from them. Okay. So if they come in and they try to steal from me, before I get the cops involved, I'll run their pockets. I'll take everything out of their pockets, and I'll make them feel what I felt.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way with people because they're like, okay, now I'm getting robbed, you know. So I'll take their stuff and I'll break it in front of them. I don't care. It's not even about me taking it from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want them to lose. Yeah. Because they try to come take advantage of us, right?
Can we also talk about how, like, Adam just did one of the most Arab things I've ever seen in my life?
Yeah, it was.
Grab a vacuum.
The first thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And make someone take off their clothes.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like...
It was PTSD.
I had PTSD right now hearing you tell the story,
PTSD.
bro.
It was literally PTSD.
I mean, we haven't had too many... like altercations, I've had to defend myself a couple times in the store. But it hasn't been anything too rough. I mean, the thing about us in Huntington, which is cool, is it's very old school. It's very old school in the way that, you know, we could take care of our own problems.
We're mom and pop, too, at the same time. So it's like, you know, you think of, like, for instance, Sunglass Hut. It's at the end of the street. They got looted recently, actually. Maybe like 5-6 months ago.
Sunglass Hut gets looted at least once.
Yeah.
a
These
month.
guys came in, 6
Corporate,
guys,
yeah.
bags. They're just throwing it. And employees are just standing there like this.
That's the difference in corporate.
You know, that's
mom and
that's
pop.
a
We
difference.
take pride in our store. We're not going to let you take advantage of us.
Right.
You know, so that helps a lot. And stopping those few that have happened, I'm pretty sure the word's gotten around that, you know, because it's been, knock on wood, we haven't had any situations in a little while, but you know, we're always keeping our head on a swivel. That's one thing I always tell my employees. You know, always keep your head on a swivel. And when I get a rush and I have 2 employees, I call it the two-man tackle. Like, we'll have one guy at the register, and I'll stay by the door. So if my store's full of people, if you're gonna grab something and run out, I'm by the door. I'm gonna lock that door, and you're gonna have to get through me, and you're gonna have to catch an assault charge on top of your theft charge. So that helps a lot. And I've done that. One time I locked the door and made the guy drop everything, and I called the cops. The cops usually are really the Huntington Beach Police Department has worked very well with us.
They're pretty locked in.
No, they
they're
are.
on it, yeah.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's not too many crazy crimes, so it's very easy to maintain all the, you know, small little white crimes and stuff. But yeah, we have a new chief of police. He's really good, and yeah, it's been
When you guys started your shop in Huntington Beach, how did you guys build that credibility with the community? Because it seems like to some degree you guys are always had that credibility in Huntington Beach. But
That's a great
how did
question.
you guys build that?
Being from there,
Being from there,
that was a big part.
It's the biggest thing about like a lot of, you know, HB community things. And it sounds very like, I don't know what that word is, but like it sounds like derogative and stuff, but like HB is super strong about their community.
local community.
Local community. Like if you're not from here, they won't like, they'll give you I don't know how to explain it. I'm not in a bad way, but you know, if you're from HB, it's like it's like family. It's literally, that's all it is.
It's almost like Hawaii. So
Okay.
it's like you come here, you come to vacation, you come to party. If you're respectful, then we're gonna be respectful. If you're not respectful, then we're gonna let you know. That's the kind of like community localism and around Huntington. So what comes with that, with Huntington, I mean, even our business, I would say more than half of our business is relied on tourism, not localism.
Definitely tourism.
really.
Yeah. So we're a big tourist city. And especially now with what's coming in the next year, 2 years, the Olympics and, you know, the World Cup, you know, we're seeing all this signage. They're trying to drive a lot of tourism to Orange County.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot more of that. So the localism, the past 10 years, I've seen maybe 15%, 20% of people that grew up in Huntington move out of Huntington because they can't afford Huntington. In the past 10 years,
it's really expensive.
in the past 10 years, I've seen so many people. We ask everyone that comes in, oh, you guys live here? Where you guys come from? Oh, yeah, I just moved here. I moved here 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So we're getting a lot of new people coming in, and they're embracing that, like localism and stuff, and it's cool. And it's not like it used to be. It used to be a lot worse. The localism used to be like very kind of racist.
like really tight and
Huntington used to be
stuff.
really racist back in the 80s, in the 90s, but that's gone away drastically.
It's like
There's
us,
really
you know,
none of
like
that.
we're Palestinian, you know what I mean? And
Dude,
not a lot of people like Palestinians. I mean, just saying.
60%, 65% of Main Street is owned by Arabs. The businesses, not the properties, the businesses. You got
You think
Jack's.
about our block.
Okay.
You got Jack's.
Got coaches.
You got Coaches. You got the Charlie's Gyro. You got the Bomb Burger. You got the
gift
Pizza
stores.
Guy. You got the gift shops.
You got the funnel
us.
cake place.
You got the funnel cake.
The funnel cakes place is owned by
Detroit Pizzeria.
No
The
way.
deli across the street next to Sandbar.
Yeah.
It's literally mainly Arab people.
I did not know that.
Crazy.
I didn't know the funnel place or the Detroit pizza.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a wide variety of Arabs. It's Turkish, it's Syrian, it's Palestinian, Egyptian.
Who's Egyptian out there?
The Bomberger, the pizza place.
Bomberger's Egyptian?
Yeah,
Like
The
we
gift
know
stores.
this?
they just opened a fatir place. They just opened a fatir place on
Stuffed.
on Slater, stuffed. They took over that old wing place.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
good
our
people.
Our people.
Good people.
That's
yeah.
your people.
Oh, okay.
Lamas,
Yeah, it's
Lamas.
good. Yeah, must.
So yeah, you know, Huntington's a cool city. We're very blessed to grow up there. We're very blessed to be doing business there. And the coolest thing is like we grew up wanting to go to LA and Hollywood, like because they had all the cool stuff, and we brought that to our city.
Yeah.
So that's what's really special for us, you know. And it's like It's not just some people that came here to take advantage of the city. We grew up here. We were ones going to LA as kids, so it's full circle for us.
It's like all these kids nowadays. Like we get all the middle schoolers, high schoolers, and it's like they come in all the time. And sometimes I'll get annoyed, just dealing with a bunch of kids that they don't come in and buy stuff. But I look back and I was tell him I was that same kid that would go out there and just window shop. Be like, oh my god, this is so cool, and this is.
I love giving those kids the time of the day.
We literally
impact for them.
We give them so much stuff. Sometimes like we'll just give them a pair of shoes.
No
it's
way.
like literally like it's what we wanted to see as kids. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the times we used to go to LA, like we wouldn't get the time of the day. You know what I mean? Like these people, some stores were cool, but most of the time it's like, yo, like kick rocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
most of them were like that.
Especially for me.
You would wait out in line. We don't have anything cool. Like go kick rocks.
Yeah, that's it.
Me and him growing up, we weren't. This sounds pretty like standard, but it's like we weren't spoiled kids. We had jobs and we bought all our own stuff. Our parents put a roof over our head, paid for our dental and our food every night that we'd eat at the table and stuff. But all of our clothes, everything we bought with our hard-earned money, working for our grandfather.
Yeah, right. Our dad put us to work.
We had to.
Exactly. There's no exception to this.
No.
So it was very frustrating as a kid to be 14, 15 and have like a couple $100 in your pocket and go to a store and like they don't give you the time of day. And they look at you like you're just some punk kid. So now it's like, wow, like I see these kids and they don't have the money, but I give them the time of the day.
Yeah.
And that makes such an impact on them. And it sucks because today we're social media and the way, there's this kind of like a space in parenting that there's no connection. We see it all day long. A lot of kids are antisocial and it's hard to talk to them, but half of them aren't. So we try to break the other ones out, because
it's like Halloween. We just had Halloween recently and we did free pumpkins for the kids. And like, obviously this costs money. Free pumpkin painting.
Yeah. Okay.
They could paint their pumpkin. We provided everything for them. These parents are walking up with their kids. Their kids are just sitting down, not even saying hi to us, painting it, just handing it to us. Like, oh, can you dry this for us? Like, and I'm looking at the parents. I'm like, have you like taught them, any like manners? Like, hey, can I do this? It's like, but
I understand some kids are, verbally like deficient and stuff and have problems and stuff, but not all of them have that.
Yeah.
Like, we're seeing like 70% of the kids are like that. It's wild, like, man. It's wild.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's sad, but
different times for sure.
Some changes.
Yeah, 100%. It's different times. It's also you guys have a very like old school feel to you guys. Like you guys don't really act the age that you guys are currently at, right? Because like the way you guys are talking, you guys are talking like my age, right? Like
grew up around older people, man.
Right, like go play outside. A lot of the things that
I stopped playing outside at 7.
It's like we were 8. We were like 8 years old, 10 years old, and it's like when we're put to work that young, cleaning the bikes and this stuff, like we weren't robbed of our childhoods, but we didn't have the average childhood life.
Yeah.
Going here, hanging out with your friends, going to this. It's like, no, like the weekends, you're working. And like, you look back and obviously as a kid, you're like, oh, I hate it. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't want it any other way now. It's because it's taught us so much stuff.
Has that built any animosity towards your parents or towards...
Not necessarily.
Definitely not. Now that I'm older, I definitely don't.
I appreciate it.
When
we were younger, we might not have appreciated it.
Yeah.
We might have been, why can't I do this? Why can't I
do that?
when
you're younger,
now,
you hate it. You
now
don't even
I'm
want to see your
thankful for
parents
it.
at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to be thankful for it because
we're very thankful for my mom and my dad. My mom's the rock of our family, the pillar. My dad's always been charismatic and he's always been a go-getter. And I learned a lot of that, and he's learned a lot of that from him and our grandfather too. Those are our two biggest inspirations. Probably.
What issues or problems have you guys run into since opening up Ziggys? Like financial problems. Like, for example, when you guys first opened up, you have the sneakers, you have the smokes, you have everything, but rent comes due, payroll comes due. All of that can be quite a bit of like, if you're looking at the end of the month, you're like, oh man, I'm out, for example, $15K.
Yeah.
I need to sell these many shoes. I need to sell this. It becomes a rat race almost. The way that you guys are sitting right now and the way that your demeanor is, you're not running that rat race.
To break that, when we first started, obviously having like 8 to 20 pairs of shoes and, not a lot of money was invested in the store. It was more in our pockets. And as business goes, you realize how much you have to invest in a business to see your business grow.
To spend money to make money.
You have to spend money to make money. So if you look at our wall, we have a couple hundred pairs up there. On the other side, we have a lot of money in glass. a lot of money in clothing. It's like, we'll make our money and it's like, all right, we just made 20 grand in this weekend or this 3 days. Time to buy out new inventory. And it's like, you don't really see the profits coming in, but you're building the store up. I think for us, we've ran into, obviously, like, you know, we'll have the best months and we'll have the worst months. We're in an area where it's a lot of seasonal. But it has a lot to do with, obviously, budgeting, right? Summertime is like our best season. But when it comes to winter, sometimes January, February,
there's 3 months where it's very slow.
it's very slow. And it's like,
Who's the budgeter?
it's really both of us,
So
honestly.
you guys sit down collectively and you're like, hey, for example, we made 20,000 this month.
Yeah, we're gonna
or
buy
30,000 this
this. We're gonna
month.
invest in this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna bring this. We're gonna try this.
It's paying all of our
Going back
stuff
and
first.
forth.
Thank God we can both say, and this is like a very big accomplishment of what we have with our store. Like, we don't have any debt. Like, we
Really?
don't have any outstanding debts with our business. We have maybe small.
We have
stuff.
a few consigners that have maybe 40, 50 pairs in the store.
Okay.
A couple different guys.
Yeah.
But every 2 weeks we're paying them out.
Okay, so we don't have long-term debt. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, no
Okay.
long-term debt.
Yeah.
And we've kept it like that. We've never took out a loan. We've never.
You never
did it.
took it out alone?
Never.
Because that
We
rent...
started with the 50,000 investment.
We had like, it was about
About
$50,000
$50,000
investment.
We
yeah.
started with, and we built the store up to what it's at right now. It's probably worth about a quarter.
So you had
million.
initially 50 grand as an investment.
Yeah.
So you guys had some cushion to like figure it out first, right? Not a lot, because 50
Yeah.
grand
Well, we
is gone pretty
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. We
pretty
put
quickly.
that's everything that we've had.
Okay.
You know, like, working all our lives, we've built up, we saved so much money to put it into this, and you know, there wasn't really like, all right, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's like, no, we poured everything we have into this. We have to make it work.
And us, you know, going back to the beginning of the conversation with the lifestyle store, like we don't have like we're not set to a certain thing that we sell. We're a lifestyle store. So we started 80% smoke shop. We
Yes.
started 20% shoes. You know what I mean? We started with 8 shoes and 1 rack of clothes.
Maybe one rack of clothes.
Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
There was I don't
More
remember
like
a
10
single
t-shirts.
clothes.
Yeah.
So it's always just been gradually pivoting, gradually adapting and changing and trying and different. Like right now we're about 75% shoes, 25% smoke.
Okay.
And it's crazy because the margins are drastically different.
Yeah, I would think
Drastically
the
different.
margins on the glass are significantly higher than the
Yes.
margin on shoes.
100%.
And shoe game.
We're a resale store. We're not paying. We don't have a Nike account. We're not getting the shoes from Nike and selling them for retail. So
Right.
we get the shoes for $200, sell them for $250. Like
Like,
that's
people
a lot.
trip out. Like, these people that don't know anything about shoes, they'll see we have like an Off-White ICA or a Travis Scott, and they're like, $1,200? Like, do you guys sell these? I'm like, yeah, I just sold one yesterday. Oh, you guys must be rolling in dough. It's like, no, it's like, I might have bought that shoe for $1,000 and made $200.
Can we talk about the sneaker game really quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dead.
It's definitely dying.
Down. It's not dead.
I hate to say it's dead, but it's definitely at its lowest right now, for sure.
So how do you guys manage through that if you guys are 80% sneakers now?
I think it's about, for us now, it's like not really focusing on buying that pair. And, you know, obviously being a resale store, what you get on the shelf and the price that you pay for, it comes with the luxury of getting it right then and there, not having to pay all those extra fees, not waiting 2 weeks for shipping,
Yeah.
and the authenticity.
And we're competitive with our prices.
You guys are definitely
We're very competitive with the prices, and we've always been competitive with our prices.
100%.
And the reason why is because we're not in a mall.
Yeah.
When you're in a mall, you're in that mindset of shopping.
Yeah,
You
but-
got your credit card. You're ready to go. You're not really trying to budge on the prices. So when people come in and they see the prices that know what's up, that aren't too much over what the internet is, they'll just buy them right off the thing. And that one shopper who wants to budge and wants to kind of grind, like he said, we got those 3 things to combat that with. You're trying the shoe on. It's 100% authentic. You're not waiting a month for shipping,
Right.
and you're getting it right now. Like,
But you guys have to build that margins, right? Because rent in Huntington Beach is not cheap.
oh yeah,
So it's like a smoke, like a glass would be, let's say, 200-300% margin,
could be, yeah.
right? Whereas a shoe is going to be like a 10 to 15% margin.
Yeah, I would say
It just,
work.
it just
depends
depends
on the
though.
shoe.
Like honestly, lately the shoes that we've been getting cheaper shoes, and they've been moving for us.
Okay.
We'll buy shoes at $80 and sell them for $150. We'll buy shoes at $100, sell them for $180, $200. Because they're moving,
So we're making that
and we're
100%
making
margin.
100%, 80% margin.
It's just we're working on volume at that point, you know, because we used to be like, all right, we're gonna buy a $300 shoe, we're gonna sell it for $700,
Yeah.
and like might take us a week, 2 weeks to sell that shoe. But now it's like, nah, like let's buy a bunch of lower end stuff that people can afford right now, and that they can get close to retail, and they're not really going to complain about it. And I think the biggest thing, how you're saying reselling, the sneaker community is dead. That has the biggest effect on that is Nike pumping out shoes.
Oh, 100%.
Nike's stock right now, if you check, is down 26% this year. That goes back to looking at the trend of how much Nike's dropped this year. In 2020 to 2022, there was maybe like 1 to 2 Nike Dunk, not SB, Nike Dunk drops a month. We're talking about 2 drops a month.
Yeah, now there's
Nike,
12.
there's like at least 2 to 6 colorways dropping every 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
You walk into a store and you have every shade of color, every shade of the color of every single Nike Dunk.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're like putting them on sale for like $70, $80. And like, it goes back to Nike saying that they're trying to battle resellers.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
It's not good. The resellers, it's actually a good thing because it makes the brand more sought after.
it makes, it's like pandas, for instance, right?
I was just going to bring up...
You're going to bring up pandas. And everyone hates on them. I love that shoe. It's a good shoe.
But bro, okay.
It's played out.
I mean, I can only talk about myself, but I went from making, let's say, like $200 on those shoes on top
Yeah.
to like being spat in my face.
Yeah.
Just for retail.
Yes.
We put
Just for retail.
We put $30, $40 over retail, and we barely sell.
It's one of those things, but it goes back to Nike. It's like when pandas were the hot commodity, Nike had dropped maybe 200,000 pairs in all of in all of the world. So, getting that black and white pair that no one had was like everyone's dream. We used to sell pandas for almost $400.
I know.
You know, we're paying like $300 for them at one point. And it's like now Nike's like, all right, everyone loves the shoe. Let's drop 8 million pairs of them. They drop all the pairs, and now everyone's like, oh, they're sitting on the shelves. Everyone has them now.
And that's
It's
when
not
all,
fun.
That's when all these guys come in. New Balance and all these other guys come up.
New Balance.
They have to make.
The kind of the hype spread now.
Yeah.
It's not just on Nikes. Mm-hmm. So you've been in the game a long time. You know, with Nike, it's in trends and reselling. Every 5 to 6 years, it comes and it goes.
Yes.
When
Big
I got
time.
when I got into Jordans, it was 2015, 16.
The 2016.
So my
era.
first pair of Jordans were black toes, the highs.
Okay.
So think about it. That back then, sneaker game was kind of dead.
Black toes were probably high, probably like $1.95.
Yeah, I bought them from Blends
yeah.
in Costa Mesa.
If that.
The next
If
year,
that, yeah.
The next year I bought True Blues. Then I bought Black Cements. That was
Jordan 11 Space
2016,
Jams.
2017, 2018, 2019. And I'm looking around, and not a lot of people are wearing Nikes.
Mm-hmm.
I got into them. I liked them. And then 2020 comes, and now everyone's on it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it goes up and then it goes down, and it goes up and then it goes down.
So if I'm hearing you guys correctly, you guys think in the next, let's say, 5-6 years, there'll be another hype.
For sure.
And you guys
Definitely.
will just like be like, okay, we identify the hype. Okay.
But
this is,
at the same time, definitely will go back up if Nike fixes their stuff. Because if Nike continues with overdropping everything, especially now in this economy, because not only is the sneaker game dead right now, the card game, the car game, the Rolex game, every single market is down. I love collecting watches. I got my first watch in 2020, the Batman. When I got that watch for retail, it was like 11.5. I got offered 30 grand the next day I got it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sell it. It's going to go up in price. Now, if I want to go grab a Batman, I can buy one for 3 grand cheaper than what Rolex is going to sell it for.
I don't know about that, Chief. Like, a Batman's what? 12?
About
11, 11.5?
11.5 right now.
11.5.
Retail is like 13.6. So you're going to get it 2 grand cheaper.
No, it's 11.5 off the website. Because you're not Jubilee, right? You're just...
I'm thinking about
Jubilee.
Jubilee.
So Batgirl.
Batgirl.
Okay,
yes.
so Batgirl is 13.5 retail.
Yes.
It sells for 15.5 right now.
I haven't checked the retail. I just see
Right.
people post on
But
the
it
stories and
was
stuff.
going for like almost close to 30.
Yeah, back then.
Back
in the
then.
game. Yeah.
Right, so okay, so Rolex is down. Shoe
Everything.
game is down.
Everything's down. right now.
Car game, let me tell you, is hella down.
Yes.
Right?
game?
Car
Car?
game, like cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, big time.
I've never in my entire life been able to negotiate a used car. Never. They're like, this is the price. This is the price.
That's it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Until like this year, when I'm like, hey, it's 55 grand. I'm thinking about 52 out the door. They're like, fine, we'll do that.
Right away. They just jump on it.
want to make the sale.
Yeah.
They just want to make the sale, right? So it's interesting that like everything is down.
You know, it's one of those
hopefully
things.
the Rolex store calls me, bro. I've been waiting in line like you wouldn't even believe.
Yeah, it's like, it's funny because we were just talking earlier. I'm like, I got a watch that's due for me soon. I have to go pick up.
We're fortunate enough to have an AD.
We have an AD.
Authorized
We have
dealer.
authorized
Really?
dealer,
Yeah, we got an account.
So shout out Francisco if you're watching this.
Yeah.
Right.
Francisco, if you're watching this, I need a Bruce Wayne.
Bruce
Okay.
Wayne, he needs it. But going back to that, it's like it'll definitely pick up again. I think it's one of those things. It's sneakers. Everyone wears sneakers. It's like clothing trends. The biggest clothing trends right now, Hellstar, denim tears. Everyone's wearing purple jeans. Everyone's got on essentials.
Spider.
It's like you look at 2020. None of these brands were relevant.
Mm-mm.
None of them were. Back then, what was it? It was a lot of Bathing Ape. It was a lot of Supreme. Those were like the two hottest things. Essentials came along. It's just like everything. There's trends. There's,
Funny you
things
say that,
die
'cause
out.
Supreme kind of died out the past 2 years. It was kind of dead for us, and now huge comeback.
It's starting to make
What?
a comeback.
Huge
Yeah,
comeback.
big time.
Dude, I was just
Everything
gonna say
Supreme that we've been buying
Supreme
sells out.
Was dead. Like,
Yeah.
ain't nobody buying Supreme.
Yeah.
Dude,
huge
now, but like now people see Supreme on my shelves and they're like, oh yeah, like I want a Supreme tee. I want a Supreme hoodie. It's one of those things. It's coming back for sure.
So I got a question for you guys. If I decided to open up a smoke shop today, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm going to open up in a different state, whatever the case may be. What advice would you guys give me?
Well, I mean, honestly, you already got a good thing with going to another state. Smoke shop game is very saturated. So out here, it's horrible. So my pops opened in 2011. There was 4 stores in 4 smoke shops in Huntington Beach. There was One Stop, there was Raspberry Roach, and maybe 2 other ones, right?
Okay.
Now in Huntington Beach, there's like 40.
Okay.
Every block there's literally one. There's every.
So the
single
problem with that, with smoke shops and the margins in a smoke shop, you have great margins, right? But when you have so much competition, what happens is they start driving those margins down. So this problem happened in San Diego. There was a group of Armenian guys that own smoke shops down there, and they could be family. They'll buy a product for $5, and instead of selling it for $10 or $15, making 100, 200%, 300% markup, they'll sell it for $6 to steal the customer away from the guy that's selling it for $7.
To drive out competition.
And then 2 months
It's just
later,
undercutting,
a new guy will open
undercut.
and sell it for $5.50.
Yeah.
And make 50 cents. Put $5 up to make 50 cents.
But doesn't
So-
sound sustainable, though.
It's not sustainable. So a lot of these guys,
not.
what happens is they made their money investing somewhere else, and they just want to create a job for themselves. That's why if you notice when you go to a lot of these smoke shops, it's that old Arab guy working or that old someone working.
Yeah.
It's his store. He's not paying an employee to work it. He works 6 days a week, 7 days a week. Maybe he has one employee that works a swing shift so he can have some time with his family. So
Call them
the
Habibi
smoke shop
shops.
game is very saturated, and I wouldn't recommend getting into the smoke shop game.
Okay.
But if you were going to get into the smoke shop game, like you said, out of state, I would do your research and go somewhere that doesn't have a lot of smoke shops, that has young people, a college town. College towns are always good for smoke shops, being close to a college. Because with colleges, you have a lot of stoners, and you have a lot of vapors, and you have a lot of people that do zins, and so that's going to help you a lot.
What about if you guys were to do this again? Is there anything different you guys would do?
Definitely.
Like if you guys were like, okay, 2020, rewind, right? And you're standing right next to Adam and Buddy. What are you telling them? Be like, hey guys, before you guys go into this, May of 2020, this is what I got to tell you.
Don't listen to other people's opinions.
Yeah,
that's
the
the
biggest
first
one.
thing I would tell myself.
Go with your gut.
Go with
instinct.
your gut instinct, because 99% of our success has came from us trusting ourselves, taking that risk, taking that leap of faith in whatever we were doing. 99% of the times was literally our gut. There's that little, person talking in your mind. That's who's right most of the time. So
Have you guys had, like, you kind of touched on this. Have you guys had self-doubt going through this process?
for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like a few episodes ago, there's a guy who opened up his own law firm. And one of the things he mentions, and it kind of keeps sticking in my head, is this imposter syndrome, right? Where it's like, I'm going to do this, but there's someone that's going to do it better than me.
Oh, I always think like that.
100%.
So how did you guys overcome that?
I
We
think
just do it, man. We just do it because we want to prove to ourselves that we can do it, not to
Okay.
anyone else. But
I think
prove to
for-
ourselves.
it's definitely, like, for me at least, it's comparing myself to a lot of these bigger stores. you know, there's a lot of big stores that I used to watch on YouTube when I first opened Ziggys that I'm like, damn, like I want to be on YouTube. Like I want to be going to these sneaker events and I want to drop 20 grand, 30 grand like these guys are. And like I'm sitting here like, all right, like I got to watch what I spend. You know, this is like when I first opened and stuff. And eventually I'm like, you know what? Like I can do that.
Yeah.
Like it's literally mind over matter, bro. Like you have to put yourself to that and eventually it'll come. It's like for us, when we used to go to like little dunk exchanges, we used to go to these little like, you know, sneaker events, spend like 2-3 grand. I'm like, all right, like next event, let's stack up some bread. Let's skip the next small event. And let's go to the big event. And let's cash out. Let's take a video there.
Yeah.
Started doing that. Started posting on YouTube. Our YouTube views went crazy. Started posting those reels. And I started getting that traction from like fans. It's like we used to like the first couple like bigger sneaker cons, like people would come up to us, oh my God, are you guys Ziggys? Oh my God, like dude, I had this little kid come in front of the store and I'm sitting there. Can I get a picture with you? It's like it's the best feeling ever.
Yeah,
but going
for
back
sure.
to like going back to seeing people like doing it and being successful and knowing like you're not on that level, like for me it was just always about being different and doing something that someone else hasn't done. So the whole lifestyle store that we did, I haven't seen anyone else do it. There was one guy I got inspiration from in Chicago, Made Gallery. Shout out to Made. He's been there. I haven't even been there. But he was a glass gallery and he had like 6 pairs of shoes on the wall. So I got a little bit of inspiration from that. But I wanted to do it more with collectibles and toys and stuff like that. And then doing it and then seeing other people copy us and do the same thing.
The best
is like,
compliment.
okay, we're doing something right. Let's keep it moving.
Okay.
So since we've opened, we've seen maybe 6 stores copy our concept.
The same thing. I'm talking
Good luck to
smoke
those
shop.
stores. Shout out. I
Clothing.
have no hate or no animosity. It means we did something right. So that was a big thing.
A lot of people, what he just said, a lot of those stores that maybe did start trends, that maybe did start something, will look at those other people that open and stuff and like have the worst taste in their mouths about it. It's like what he said. It's like the biggest compliment when people do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, those people might not think the same. They're going to be big-headed and be like, oh no, like I had this idea forever. But it's like, in all reality, like we look at those people and we're like, bro, good for you. Like, I hope you succeed with this. It's really nice seeing that.
It's crazy. We hear it all the time in the store. People will come in the store and be like, oh, I thought about this.
Yeah.
I will be the first to tell you guys, like in 2020 when I was selling sneakers, right? And I'm like, hey guys, I got the sneaker, yada, yada, yada,
Yeah.
right? And then from there started like sneaker shops popping up, right? And let's just say, for example, I wanted $300 for shoes. You guys were like, hey, I'll give you $280, right? Another shop would be like, oh, I'll give you $285 and so forth and yada, yada, yada. I went in there, was going to sell it to them. And I was like, nah, bro, I'd rather sell it to you. Because you guys, every time I walk into the store with you guys, like we chop it up real quick. You know, sometimes you guys are busy, but you still give me like the time of day. What's up, brother?
Yeah, you
How you
bring
doing?
the fam, you bring the baby.
Bring the baby.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if we talk for a couple minutes, like, you know, we have that like small relationship. And I'm like, all right,
100%.
you know, so it's like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, but we goes 1,000 ways back.
Dude, we appreciate it so much. It's like I had this couple the other day from Vegas, and they walked in and like they asked me a question, and like I instantly replied to them with like a good response, and they looked at me like a little weird, like, and then they start talking to me a little bit more, and they're like, dude, like we just like visited like LA. You're like the first person that's ever like talked to us. We sat there for an hour, talked. I gave them like a whole itinerary of what to do for the day, and it made their whole trip. They texted me after. They sent me like pictures and videos on Instagram where they went. And they're like, dude, you made our trip like better. Like, so it's definitely cool seeing that, because a lot of people don't have like the biggest thing that we preach. And to every business owner out there, personal service takes you a long,
Yes, it does.
it literally will blow your business up. If you're a good person to your customers, it's like you, bro. I could have been an asshole to you when we first started.
Oh,
and I could have
100%.
been like, yeah, bro, like I could do $200. And
That
I could have
taste
like,
in your mouth would have lasted.
we wouldn't be here right now.
No,
Yeah.
no shot.
Yeah.
So what is Ziggy's like long-term goals now moving forward?
I would definitely say that we talked about this today, actually.
funny.
We literally had a conversation about this today because we want to open another store soon. But the biggest thing for us is location. Because right now we can go and open another store somewhere, but I'm not going to go
It's a
open in a
risk.
strip. I'm not going to open in a strip
Huge
mall,
risk.
anything like that. I mean,
Our store was a very calculated risk. We knew we had a lot of, on a scale, we had a lot of the upper hand knowing a lot about our store. So that helped a lot. So we're looking at other locations, other beach cities, other places with high traffic. But a lot of stores opened up and tried it there.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we do it there, if we bring our personal vibe and stuff, we might make it successful. So
I think one thing that you guys have in Huntington Beach is the vibe. Like Ziggys vibe is a Huntington Beach vibe.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%.
Period.
Yeah, people walk in all the time, and like it'll be customers that walk in, and they might have bought something before they came, but they literally come back and be like, bro, like, I just want to come look around. I want to come like sit down on this couch and talk to you guys, chill here for an hour, see everyone that comes in. Like people,
So the greatest compliment. They tell us straight up. They're like, dude, I love the vibe in here. I love the vibes in here. I love the vibes in here. It's such good energy.
We had like a
that's very like great to hear. You know, it's like you go into other stores and you feel like your energy is being sucked.
every
When you
time
come in, we try to build that up. You know, so
we had a
that helps
customer
lot.
last week come in, and this guy came in, and I'm working by myself. This was maybe like a Monday night, really dead. This guy comes in, and he usually comes in with like high ass energy. Comes in with his wife. Came in, and he just like looked a little down. I'm like, "What's up, bro? Like, do you have any questions?" You know? He's like, "Nah, bro. I just wanted to come look around." And like I could tell like he wanted to tell me something. I'm like, "So what's up, man? Like, how's everything going?" You know? And dude, this dude spilled his whole life story to me. How he's getting a divorce with his girl. And bro, this guy like talked to me for an hour, bro. And I sat there, gave him some. I mean, obviously, I don't.
We're
I never went through
uncertified
that.
therapists.
That's literally what we are, bro.
Literally, dude. It's crazy. That's one thing with the personal service and the vibes and everything. And it's a balance. It's so funny. We've been talking about this a lot that we have to find. And lately, I've been like trying to find it. Like sometimes people take advantage of that energy.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's people that come and, no animosity towards them or anything and no negative vibes or negativity towards them, but it's just like, they just suck that vibe up and they're just on the same thing. If they have problems, they're talking about the same problems and they're not doing anything to change it. And they just want someone to just listen to them and hear them out and hear them vent. And it's like, it gets to a point where it's draining to us.
Yeah.
And we have to kind of ease off.
We have to balance it at the same time,
They take it the wrong way sometimes, and it sucks because just out there in America, depression's so big right now. And, just like emotion and emotional unintelligence. A lot of emotionally unintelligent people out there, and they take things the wrong way. They take things to heart.
Yeah, there's
hard to balance.
Yeah, there's a difference between like, hey, like I'm going through something, I just need someone to hear me out, versus like we all know people like this. It's like every single time I talk to you, bro,
it's the same negative thing.
Yeah. You're like, bro, get out of my face, because it's like we know this is like, if this is what you are, it's gonna attract more of that.
Yes.
And so if you're around me, you're like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like I'll hear you out.
Yeah.
And I'll be there, but like I can't just continue with this
It's
negativity.
like same thing, but it's like backing onto that too. It's like a lot of people will come in, and it's like what he said, take advantage of us, because we'll be super cool to them for like the 5 times they come in, bro. And then sometimes these people will come in and like I'm talking like 5 days of the week for 3 hours at a time, act like they're like part of the they'll come behind the counter. They'll start talking to the customers. What's up, guys?
And
You guys
they'll
need
take
any
us away from
help?
our work.
And then I'll be like, yo, bro, like I appreciate you doing that, and I appreciate you coming by. But like, bro, like this is a place of business as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you want to hang out with something, bro, like we could do that outside of work. But at the same time, I got to uphold the business, because not everyone, especially in business, not everyone likes that energy from us. Some people like to come in, buy their things, and get out, bro. And that's respect to anyone, because I'm the same way sometimes. I like going into a store, grab my stuff, I'm in a rush, that's it. But a lot of people will take advantage of that and act like, oh yeah, I'm best friends with the owner. It's like, we made a video about it. It's like,
I saw that.
I'm friends with the owner. Oh, I know the owner. Like the guy walks up and he's like grabbing a shoe. Bro, we experienced that
How many
at
times
least
people would come in?
5 times a week.
Dude, people have come in and I'll be working or he'll be working. We'll stand at each other. Yeah, I know Buddy. Yeah, I know Adam. And
Bro.
they're literally talking to him. And I'm like, what? Like,
This guy came in. Yeah, he was like, yeah, is Adam here? And he's like looking at him. There's no one else in the store. And I'm like, oh, no, he's not here right now. And he's like, oh yeah, well, I need to talk to him. Like, I was dealing with him and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool, yeah. He'll be here tomorrow, bro.
Yeah.
And they'll come back tomorrow and they'll be like, oh wait, where's Adam? I'm like, I'm Adam. And they'll look at me like, oh.
Yeah.
And, they're all like acting dumb, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, it's just how people are though. You can't control that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Retail, man. Retail. It's a fun game.
Long-term it's opening another store.
100%. Yeah. And definitely broadening, I would say, our internet space.
Okay.
Right now, we just built a new website a few months ago, working on some tweaks with the website. We do have a really big merch line dropping pretty soon.
That's our big thing for 2025 is our own merch, our own brand, pushing our own brand. Because for the past 5 years, we've been pushing all these hype brands, and it's great, and people love it. But we built up enough repertoire that we have our own brand that people want to wear, and that's great, you know. And we need to tack onto that more. A lot more merch. A lot
Like
more cool
personal merch, like the
hats,
hat.
the shirts, clothing.
Yeah.
You know, we want to go crazy.
It's like the shirt that he got on right now.
Jeans.
That's sick.
This is a design.
Dude, we sold out of that tee. Like, we did 2 drops of it.
Davidson.
And, like, people loved it. Because people look at that, and it doesn't look like your average, you know, like, merch that someone has their store logo in the corner. And,
Yeah.
like, this is, like, real clothing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we pride ourselves on the blanks that we use, down to the neck tag, the packaging. We're trying to make a brand out of it because everyone knows what Ziggys is.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people in, I would say, Southern California, you ask them about Ziggys, and it's like, they know what Ziggys is.
100%.
So it's definitely one of those things we're proud of, so we're going to capitalize on it.
Last question I got to ask you guys before we leave, right? I ask this to every single person, okay? Let's just say I came up to you guys and I'm like, hey, here's $2 million. Close the store. No more. Here's $2 million. Go about your way. Would you guys do it? Or even better, $2 million, come work for me, close the store. We can do a store just like Ziggys, but I'll run it. But here's $2 million each of you guys.
You want to go first?
I wouldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I like working for myself.
10 million.
If you're gonna give me 10 million to walk away from the store, but I don't have to come work for you, yeah, I'll do it.
No, you got to come work for me.
No, I won't work for you.
Okay.
For me, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Well, it's one of those things, bro. It's like, okay, $2 million. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and talk about what our finances and, you know, just in anything. I think people really complicate how much money you can make being your own boss. I think the biggest thing for me too is we grew up always like not working for someone. If we worked for someone, it was like my
Family.
father, my grandfather, but we were breeded to be our own bosses at the end of the day. And that's how I think my grandfather started such like an empire of what he's done in his life. So I think like for me, it's like, you're going to offer me $2 million. It's like, yeah, I'm going to walk away. I mean, if you're going to offer me 10 mil to walk away from my business right now where it is and not work for you or whatever it is, yeah, I mean, I could take that money and go open 6 other stores. But if you're offering me to come work for you, I'm definitely I'm gonna preach on that. Probably wouldn't do it.
That's so
For
interesting.
me, a big reason is my dad.
Okay.
Because I'm a little older than him. I see my dad. I was 6 when he started his career at Ford, working for like a corporate Ford dealer.
Okay.
And I saw from 6 to 14, I saw what that did to him. And it put a lot of stress on him. And he made money. You know, we had a nice house growing up, and, you know, he had nice things and everything. He was always successful, but he was never there. Like, I would spend maybe 1 day out of 2 weeks with him, or, you know, and I would be raised by my uncles and my grandpa that were running their own business, and my mom. So, and he would get frustrated. When he'd get frustrated, sometimes he would take it out on, you know, his family, and it was because of work.
Right.
So I seen that happen to him, and then when I seen him open the smoke shop and how happy he was and how much more of a dad he was and how much more of a successful man he was, that was very inspiring to me.
But somebody could say opening up your business might make you more upset, right? Because
could, yeah.
there's a lot of emotions that deal with it. Like coming from
It's a
someone,
double-edged sword, yeah.
yeah, coming from like a restaurant business. When my family opened a restaurant business,
Very hectic.
it's very hectic. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And so
I think though it goes back to when I go to work, when I go to my business, I don't find it as work.
Yeah.
Like I literally walk into my business and I'm not, because a lot of people walk into their job and they're like, all right, I'm off at 5, weekend's coming up. Oh, it's Monday. I'm kind of sad. I got to wait all week for the weekend. It's like, bro, I can't remember the last time we've ever like looked forward to the weekend. It's like every single day for us is a good day. You know what I mean? Like
Monday through Sunday, we're happy to be there.
we're happy to be there. You know, it's like I'm never like walking into my store like, oh, I don't want to work today. You know what I mean? It's more of just like, what do I got to do today? Like, I got this play I got to do. I got to talk to this guy. It's like, yeah, it's stressful for sure.
Yeah.
Having your own business is very stressful. It's like people think, oh, you work for yourself, you make all this money.
You're
it's
a
like,
baller.
it's like,
No,
bro,
yeah.
no. Like we pay out, especially in our business, bro. We
got a
pay
big
out
nut.
so we have like, if I told you what our nut is a month, bro, like you'd be like, I don't know how you're making money. So it's like, you can't stop. You have to keep it going because eventually the store's going to get to a point where it's worth a certain amount. And obviously the end goal for every businessman is to eventually sell their business one day for 100x of what you've put into it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously the end goal for sure. We want to start an empire and franchise out the store and stuff like that. So eventually one day we can sell the business off right off in the sunset.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
I appreciate
Thank you guys
Amazing
so
podcast.
much,
This is my
man.
first podcast. Had so much fun. Great.
So thank you guys. I really
Thank
appreciate
you,
you guys
man.
sharing
No,
all
yeah,
your
for
stories.
sure.
If someone wants to find you guys like on Instagram or
Ziggys
TikTok.
on Main HP is our Instagram. Our YouTube is Ziggys on Main HB. We also have TikTok, Ziggys on Main HB, Ziggys on Main HB.
That's
across the
our
board.
handles across the social media board and
Our website.
Our website Ziggys on mainhb.com, and then make sure to follow us. We do a lot of free giveaways, raffles, and we do have a steel page that we usually run on too. So just hit us up.
Yeah.
Hope you guys really enjoyed this talk. Thank you guys for joining in for Untitled Success again. I hope you guys feel inspired. Until the next time, we on the outro.